Hello there, welcome back to Palworld. Last time around, we spent some time getting a 4-star chicken for our ranch work, and today I'm thinking that we are probably going to try and get a 4-star mozzarella, maybe a couple of 2 stars B-guard, in order to make sure that we have basically next to an infinite supply of cakes, which should make our breeding goals a little bit easier in the future, and again, it's just easier to set it up early. Now, last time around, we did run around collecting a large number of Sanctuaries because they are, well, easy to breed together for purposes of creating a good Anubis. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to take the Artisan here, which is plus 50 to work speed, and we're going to be trying to breed a couple of Sanctuaries that we can then use to breed Relaxosaurus and get a couple of good Anubises, and then we can use the Anubi to, well, create a few better work piles from there. So we do have a little bit of work ahead of us. Let's just put it like that. But it should be fine, honestly. Again, it is a bit of an episode here that's going to be focused on breeding and kind of getting things set up for automation. That doesn't work, so let's check you in the other pen. But I think it's going to be, again, just worth it in the long run, and that's kind of what I'm setting up here. Once we have the cake factory set up, once we have good starter pals, which we can take basically all 4 work perks, all of the Nimble Swift Runner perks from, and kind of the combat perks as well, we are going to be basically set, if you will, to deal with most issues that is going to come our way. So I'm happy with doing things this way, honestly. And even though this is probably going to take a few hours, we are going to condense it down in the episode, of course. But I think, as I said, I do feel like it is going to be worth it, and I guess we'll get the work slave into here as well. Now, we don't care about IVs for this because we're mainly just breeding for perks, but we'll be breeding for IVs sometime later once we start doing combat. But for now, we're just going to allow these 2 Sanctuaries to do their thing. And for what we're going to be doing, we're probably going to do, as I said, use the rifle ammo here. Well, maybe not the rifle ammo, probably a crossbow, to head out and start hunting some more cows to try and 4-star a cow as well, because that would make, again, just the process of procuring cakes a lot easier. Of course, we are going to need to get better cake cookers. Ragnarok here isn't really, well, doing the job right now. It is still happening, but it's fairly slow. So we're going to try and make a cake production Ragnarok 2 down the line. But as you can imagine, this is going to be a fairly lengthy process. We also have Paladin fragments here that we are producing. There's just no reason not to. And we are going to be producing, for the most part, green spheres. I think that's going to be our best bet for progressing quickly here with the goals that we have. Kelpsy doing a good job here of collecting or watering. Probably going to upgrade these to gobfins down the line. They're slightly better. And also, the thing with 4-starring a pal that is kind of important to mention is that by 4-starring pals, you're actually making them better at the job. So 4-starring a Ragnarok that has 3 kindling is going to turn it into 4. 4-starring a Yormantide Ignis here, who has 4 kindling, is actually going to turn it into a level 5 kindling. So it could make an incredibly powerful pal for cooking, but does require a lot of space. So it has that drawback. But at the same time, goals for today: get a tier 4 mozzarella, level up a little bit, get an Anubis or 3. We'll have to see just how much we have time for. Proper Anubis this time. And if we take a look at the eggs here, there are some that are done. These Anubis are almost done. Some huge scorching eggs here. I believe these are just basic eggs, but we can go ahead and take a look in them. And also, just flying around collecting eggs, as I mentioned earlier, is actually a really, really good way to just collect a bunch of pals that you probably haven't found before. Arsox gives us a little bit of experience. Daydream, we have completed those, but yeah, you're going to have to go into new areas to get some proper upgrades. For now, though, as I said, I am going to head out. I am going to be collecting some cows, and we're probably also going to have to do a little bit of cleaning up on the Sanctuaries because we do have a little bit too many of them. We could, of course, infuse them into some of the others to well, level them up, which might be actually what we end up doing, but we'll have to see. We are going to need to make up space for Mozzarinas after all. Gonna let this Anubis finish his craft, and then we'll head out. As for what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to hunt these cows. We're gonna head to the same area that we usually do, which is down in the Bamboo Grove. Now, there are Cognitos running around here. There are some other pals that we might want to try and capture. But honestly, we might just want to wait until daytime to have a little bit of a better chance of finding the, well, pals that we were after. The Loopmons. There are a bunch of others walking around here. So, currently, the chance of finding Mozzarinas is going to be a little bit lower. And as such, it's going to take a slight amount of longer time. So, well, again, just gonna have to make the best out of it. It's also easier at night to collect the eggs. Gonna have to just sacrifice some balls here too, because, well, don't really have any good attacks that won't just straight up kill it. But yeah, can collect eggs on the way. It's easier to see the Liftmonk effigies that have now been fixed. If you didn't know, there was a bug where the Liftmonk effigies actually lowered your catch rate instead of increasing it, or it wasn't calculated correctly and led to unexpected results is probably the best way to put it. So we can go back to collecting FGs again, and we'll be upgrading the statue to increase our capture chance. So I'll be spending some time here just flying around looking for the Monsterenas, trying to capture a bunch of them, and it's probably going to take, again, a lot of time, but it's an investment of time that I'm willing to do because it's going to speed things up again later. We are planning to do basically very much a completionist run of this game. Okay, yeah, I think we might want to wait until daytime. We could go for some Raxosauruses too, just kind of take them out for the high quality pal oil. But there is actually a better way, which is to cheese a merchant. But particularly when it's nighttime, we can just fire one bullet, and that'll be enough to just take it out. Should probably also take the opportunity to go for these Cognitos, because they are pals that we haven't actually caught before. They aren't very useful, but they're experience. And that does kind of matter. So we'll go ahead, we'll get some of these night pals, we'll have a look at what they do. Loop 1 is one we had before, to handiwork, can be somewhat useful. But I'm definitely going to take the opportunity here to level up a little bit as well. There is actually another thing that I want us to start doing early in this game, and that is actually visiting the 3 Safari Islands. And the reason for this is simple. While we might not be able to catch the pals on all 3 islands, we will be able to open the chests. And these chests can have some pretty good stuff, so there's no reason not to go there. We can also start collecting flowers for resetting stat points later with the stat point potion. But generally too, there are some rare pals that we do want to try and catch. And just a quick tip, as long as you're on a mount, the defense force, well, a flying mount, the defense force at these islands do not really care if you visit, and even if you capture pals here. It's just if you step foot on that you're trespassing, the airspace is free. You can basically send in your pal drone to capture anything you desire. But yeah, heading to these islands and picking up the chests in particular can be very profitable, both from a money perspective, but also from a blueprint perspective. Now, the first island here, by the starter zone, probably isn't the best place to start off with, but the high-grade tech manuals, the sapphires, can help in the long run. And of course, as I said here, collecting these flowers isn't the worst either. So it's going to be something that we try and do daily in order to, well, collect a few things. We can also try and capture, say, Penkings, other shinies. Generally here, though, I'm here for 2 things, and that is Griswold and Petalias. So, Penkings, not really that high up on the order. Petalias are a bit of a different matter, although we did fry that one completely, because instead of reloading, I let go of the right mouse button, and instead of reloading, we fried it. So yeah. Skill fruits, money, flowers, bunch of things you can actually get here, so it's not a bad thing to stop by. You can also get Azure ropes for the base if you really want to. So as you can get here, I do love stopping by, just seeing what is available. Yeah, mainly these chests, metal helm schematic, that's a low level one, but you can get some higher level ones as well. So again, it's a very simple thing you can do every day. If you have a good fly amount, just stop by, pick up the stuff, capture a few pals for experience, that sort of thing. And it's honestly pretty good to do so. But yeah, nothing too serious this time around. We've got an attack pendant, which can be very, very good. Got the schematic, got the 5 skill points, got some sapphires, and as you can see, we have some other stuff here, so we might want to stop by base and drop that off before we do anything else. Now, the other island that we are going to be heading to is over here. So we'll be teleporting there for the first time, having a look. Again, I'm not too bothered about picking up every single flower. It can be nice to do so, but it's not something that is vital. So I'm just going to get over there, and we're going to fly to the second Safari Island. So we just arrived at the second wildlife sanctuary, and the way to get here is actually fairly simple. You just follow the coast. This is all fairly low level. Get over here, then you just speed over, which is kind of what we've done. And over here, while things are going to be a bit higher level than the first island, it's still fine to just drop by, pick up chests for, as you can see, there's schematics, for sapphires. You can even get Ignis here. You can get Incineram Noct, you can get Bumpos. But as you can see, they're kind of high level, which makes this a little bit of a challenge if you do want to try and capture them. However, there's nothing that stops you from trying lucky catches by throwing them into the back. Now, with the green ones, a little bit too little. With these ones as well, if we use the red ones, you kind of have a chance. But as you can imagine, this isn't really a place where you can easily go to capture things. We're generally just here for skill fruits. We're here for attachments, blueprints. You get the idea. Just stopping by very, very quickly to raid this place before we leave. But it is a place where you can find Ignis, naturally. And Ignis can be a very, very good pal to get. Now again, these high-grade technical manuals just give you a technology point, but they're going to be quite important if you have a goal of trying to get every single technology point available to you, so do keep that in mind. Now, just because I want to be a little bit cheeky here, we're going to use one of the red spheres, and we're going to see if that 2% back bonus works. It did not, so we're going to run away before we become French toast. But yeah, we're going to head to the third island as well, which is to the very, very far northeast of the map, which is actually a bit of a dangerous journey. So we'll have to see how that goes. But for now, we're going to head back to basically this camp right here, and we're going to try and make our way up over there. So it's going to be a little bit of an expedition, but it should be fun. So we have arrived at the mining base, and currently they are working, but we haven't really gotten a lot of, resources yet. We're going to probably have them work a little bit longer, and that could become a bit of a problem. Now, the way that we're actually going to be heading is towards that tower over in the desert area. And we want to head over there to, well, as I said, get more, get to the final wildlife sanctuary or zoo area. But what we are also going to do here on the way is collect lift monks, and if we do see camps like this, we might try and get involved, but honestly, at the levels they're at, we might very much end up being deleted instead. So I'll just gingerly make my way over. There is going to be some eggs that we'll be picking up. It is going to be some lift monks, but generally, unless there's something really, really interesting, I'm just going to kind of farm my way over there on my own, and I think that is going to be probably the best way of doing it. If not, this video is going to probably be like 5 hours long. Well, not that long, probably 2 or 3, instead of just the one that it's going to be condensed into. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of lift monks in this area. Having a flying pal does make finding them a little bit easier. There's also some dungeons that we will not be touching for the time being. Not that they're not good, but we just don't have the capability really to get involved. What we might do, however, while we're here, is try and take advantage and getting some of these bomber bees, if you will, in a bit of an easier way from up high, where they can't reach us and blow us up. We do, after all, want to upgrade our bee guards, get a little bit better in terms of our ability to produce honey. And right now I'm being a little bit outplayed here, by the hill in particular. And also by RNG. No, 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 no. That's unfortunate. So yeah, if I go too far down, it's gonna be bad. Oh, I'm so horrible here. It's not. How did? How did that ball go to, well, the sky, basically? I think what I'm gonna have to do here is just jump off. Do this manually, because if Valeris goes down here, that's gonna be even worse. But yeah, that was a waste of so many resources, it's not even funny. And Mosander is actually aggressive here, so that's not great either. But Mosander is one that is actually good to kind of have, so might as well try and capture one while we're here. And as you can see, that's an attack that predicts your trajectory, which can be very, very challenging. I think we're just gonna have to use some Gigaseers. We should be fine, and I also think shooting in the leg should be okay, but we actually hit that first time, so not the worst. We also level up to 39, which is good. But yeah, getting a few Masanders would be nice. Free Pal guys here have all been hit quite a bit. They're kind of fighting amongst themselves, but is that a Ignis Kelpis? Is that a Foxbox? It's a Flambell? Yeah, it's a Flambell. So let's just try and get it here. If they want to fight amongst themselves, I will not complain. And we'll pick up a Pal here for free. But yeah, I'm gonna continue making my way over to the desert, and we'll see if we get any more distracting side quests on the way. So we have actually stumbled upon what can be described as a very interesting side quest here, because the Pal in question over here is a Dinosaur Lux, which is what you'd probably categorize as a bit of a rare variant, if you will. So we're gonna go ahead here, get a little bit involved, and that should be it. There we are. But yeah, a Dinosaur Lux, which is basically an electric type Dinosaur, which, as you can imagine, is generally a little bit hard to come by and could be a little bit useful for us to have. So we'll go ahead and pick this up from this cage. But yeah, you can find some pretty rare pals from, well, from these traps, if you will. So they're nice to check out on your way. Now we are actually getting closer here to the desert area. We're going to have to cross the ocean. And the area right here is actually pretty interesting because it is next to a high level area, but the pals in question around here are actually fairly low level. You can see the Foxparks, you can see the Vixen, you can see the Kelpsie. So I think we'll do a little bit of a pit stop here and capture some of these pals in order to help us level up a little bit. The Vixen in particular can be very useful, and that is the wrong pal sphere. But mainly, we're going to be here just for the experience. So yeah, Kelpsie Ignis. Do you survive a body shot? You do, just barely. But yeah, this area, basically up here, 360, 30. This is kind of a line here that we'll be exploring. But yeah, we're going to just run around here, have a look at the things that we can find. We'll finish off the Kelpsies that we can get. We're going to finish off the Vixens, hopefully. We already have the Rubies, I believe. But you can see Flambells are here. We have the Kelpsies, some of the other ones. So let's see if we can get all that we need. So we spent basically all night here just hunting pals. We found Arsox, we found Vixens, we found the Flambells, Rubies. We're still lacking a few of these, honestly, but I think it's time that we get moving. And we might come back some other time. What is this? Ah, loot. But yeah, we've been flying backwards and forwards here, capturing some of the pals. We've actually leveled up quite a decent chunk here. We're almost at level 40. So I can't be too upset with what we've done here. And I think it is time that we do leave. We're just going to quickly unlock what we got here. The double barrel shotgun with its shells and the refined metal chest, which is going to be huge because that's going to make it a lot easier to set up storage. It's basically one of the best storage solutions in the game. So that one is going to be a real clutch thing to have, honestly. It's going to make my life a lot easier. Now we are going to head to the desert here because the other safari zone is actually this direction northeast. So we're going to have to cross this desert. And I think it should be fine. I probably should have crossed it at night, to be fair. Because we do have fairly decent heat resistance. And we also have fairly decent cold resistance, almost maxed out. And Suzaku's here, which are one of the more interesting pals you can get. Because again, it's kind of hard to get. There aren't too many combinations that makes a Suzaku. You can actually pick them up here for free. If you find large or huge eggs, I don't remember exactly which ones the Suzakus do come from, but you can find them in eggs in this area, which makes them basically easy to get early game, and they are somewhat nice to have. So I would, if you do kind of fly by here, make sure that you look around. If you see eggs, pick them up. We also have some Earth version of other pals, like the Robin Quill Terra. the dinosaur blocks, as I mentioned earlier. Kind of easy to get it from the cage instead of having to capture it in the wild. Toko, which we are not going to be touching because, let's face it, level 30s, we're just going to be wasting spheres. Same really with the Nightwing. There are better areas for us to kind of hunt these pals in. And, well, we're going to take advantage of that rather than trying to catch them here, where we're at a disadvantage due to levels and the quality of our spheres. But yeah, we are going to be collecting eggs on the way, of course, because we can get Rayhounds, we can get a bunch of other pals we haven't really seen before. So there's nothing that's really bad about stopping by here, picking up chests, picking up eggs. You can see that chest gave us 800 gold. So there are plenty of benefits to flying around here and looking for eggs, looking for chests. There aren't too many pals that are just straight up aggressive. There are some, mind you, but there aren't a lot of them. So you're usually generally very fine in most areas as long as you have a fairly quick flying pal, and make sure that you have the correct heat and cold resistance, because that is actually way more likely to kill you than you running into something aggressive that you can't really run away from. As long as you don't dismount next to something, you will be fine in most cases here. Now we're gonna head to this tower, not to challenge it, but just to get the TP next to it. And then we're gonna head over to that final safari zone where we can find some interesting stuff. And again here, we have actually found a decent chunk of eggs. Not really anything too major, but apparently our inventory is full. Let's get rid of those Toko feathers. There were actually a couple of Tokos that ran around in the area where we were previously, which is interesting because, well, I haven't seen them there before. But yeah, what I'm thinking we do here is now that we unlock this TP, we go home, we deposit the loot that we have, because there's no reason not to. We have found a few eggs, we have found a few other things, but as you can see here, we have actually done quite a long distance here to get to where we're at. Now, in terms of the eggs here, I did actually, before we left, I don't know why you aren't automatically fed. I guess it's because I was still riding you, technically. But yeah, we did actually go ahead and put in a few damp eggs here from the Sanctuaries that we're breeding. So we'll have a look at them. Workslave and Artisan, that is already very good. Now we just need to get Serious and Conceited. And Workslave, Serious, Artisan, just need Conceited. So, as you can imagine, that's already a very, very good start to the Celery adventure. And we could potentially start breeding some Anubis just from that. It wouldn't be a terrible idea. Now, I do believe that these two Anubis eggs are ready, so we're going to go ahead and hatch them as well. But yeah, it is probably better, as I said here, to just breed a proper celery first, and then get some good Anubises, just due to the time it takes to breed them. So we have found a few eggs here, a couple of electric eggs, a rocky egg, a fire egg. Do we have any more eggs here? The inventory is a little bit cluttered. We also did find a crossbow 2 schematic, which is good. Nothing too amazing, but it's still nice to have. And as I said, in the refined chest, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of sorting here in the near future, because we kind of need to. But for the time being, I'm going to be just a tad lazy with it. But yeah, we're going to be heading back to the desert momentarily, where we are going to be, well, trying to get the last island done. And then I think we're just going to go back to farming cow. I think that is going to be the play here. And I'm just going to be lazy and put, again, just not worry too much about what goes where here. I am going to bring the food with me, though. Going to keep this in a slot. But yeah, I'll head to that last safari island. We'll see you there. But once we come back, I'm going to definitely do a little bit of cleanup of inventories to make life a little bit easier for the base, basically. But yeah, let us see if we can see the safari zone, and we can. It's over there. There is also eggs on the way, and one more TP that we want to pick up. You can kind of see it there in the distance. But we'll get that done. If we find anything interesting on the way, I'll show it as usual. But honestly, yeah, we're just going to be picking up chests like this. We're just going to be picking up eggs and basically slowly making our way over there. And as you can see, even Rayhounds here are kind of afraid of us. So there isn't really anything that we will be worried about on our way to the island. Here we are. We're entering the third wildlife sanctuary, and the chests here should have some slightly better stuff. It's still just going to be level 1 accessories though, but the blueprints here can be fairly good, and it's kind of like the second wildlife sanctuary in terms of levels. So it's once again a place that we aren't really going to be capturing anything at, but it is a place to catch Fanglope in the wild. But honestly, your best bet is probably to just farm the boss, honestly. You can also find Astigons here, which of course are also nice to catch if you have the capability. We don't. But we can also do the, again, cheeky thing here of just throwing a Palsphere at the back. But we are going to need to get the capture power of our own capture power up a little bit before we do that, I think. Because right now we're probably just going to be throwing away things. You can also find Shadowbeak. So there's a lot of rare pals that you can actually kind of find here. And with this level 41 Shadowbeak, I'm kind of really tempted to try and catch it. It also seems to be incredibly small from this angle. Yeah, it could be one of those that could be fun to try and snatch just because we can. We have found a few of the red balls on the way, and if we fail, like so, we are going to want to evacuate, let's just put it like that, as quickly as possible. But yeah, we can, of course, try and catch things. There's also Orsurk here, which we can also try. We've actually found, I think, every single rare. You aren't actually supposed to see all of these on your, well, first trip here, but we have. So, as you can imagine, we've been quite lucky with what we have viewed, but we do need a little bit more capture power and better spheres if you want to try and just snatch them like that. Unfortunately, nothing too good from this one. We still got a few skill fruits, we found a few eggs, but nothing really amazing in terms of schematics. But it's still a very easy source of schematics. The best schematics you're going to find, though, is probably going to be in the central ice area, which is up here, which we might make a visit to at one point, but probably not in the near future. For now, we're going to head back to camp, or main base, and I think we're going to just spend a little bit of time to get the Mozzarella to level 4, and also to probably switch out the Celeries for the ones that we have now that are probably a little bit better to breed, to get a decent work Anubis. But yeah, I'll head back to base. Before heading back to the ranch, I did decide to do a little bit of upgrading here, get a couple of refined metal tool cabinets or storage cabinets up and running, and these do have a lot more storage space, which makes life a lot easier. So we've gone ahead and done that. We also do have a bunch of cakes ready here, so let's head back to the ranch and switch out some of the Celeries for our new and improved ones, which should help out a little bit in terms of, well, resource gathering. I'm also going to save your ears from picking up all of this, so just give me a sec. So there we are. A bunch of resources here. Honey, eggs, milk. Eggs are still kind of lacking compared to the milk production, so maybe we should make another chicken. I don't know. But so far, it's honestly looking fairly good here. We're getting a bunch of wool, which is also nice. And as I said, we're probably going to call back the Celeries here. Bring these eggs with us to hatch. And just switch up the pairings a little bit in order to keep on breeding that work celery. We did get a couple of good ones on that last batch. So in this case, we have the Work Slave Series and the Work Slave Artisan series, which honestly is good enough in its own right. I don't remember exactly how much conceit it gives. So these guys are very, very good altogether. And what I'm thinking we do here is that we take the series one. Let's just put all of these back. Just makes it a little bit easier. We have this one, which currently lacks Sirius. We're going to take that one. We're going to place it down, although it did run to a bed. Which means that it's kind of difficult to do this at nighttime, because they will just run off like that. So we'll just respawn it, and we'll make sure that we pick it up this time, before it runs off. So I can just get this set up and go hunting for the pals that I'm kind of looking for. So we're going to need a female Celery here, with the perks that we are looking for. So Artisan Work Slave, do we have a female serious Celery? That's going to be the big question here. We do not, by the looks of things. Might need to go digging a little bit here, but does not look to be the case, unfortunately. So I think what we're going to do here is just take the pairing that we have with this one, and we're going to use these guys to make base celeries with hopefully at least 3 of the work perks for our Nubises. That should be good enough. I don't remember exactly what Conceited does. It is a work speed perk, but I think it's the weakest one. So I'm just going to quickly go through my pals here, see if we can find a conceited one, and see exactly what it does, because right now I can't remember from the top of my head. Here we are. So conceited is just a 10% work speed buff, so honestly getting something like Diet Lover in there could be more than good enough. So I'm happy with this combination for now. Honestly, this celery here, we might actually go ahead and just immediately breed it with a Relaxosaurus, because I believe we do have a Diet Lover one, which is unfortunately female, so they don't really match at the moment. But let's see if we have another one. But honestly, I think it would be fine to try and breed a couple more Celeries for that matter. But yeah, it does look good so far. Now, in terms of what we want to do with the other pen, for now, I think we just leave it as is. And I think we'll go with trying 4 eggs to start off with. You can actually limit how many eggs you spawn by just how much cake you put in. And cake never spoils in breeding farms, so you can kind of just leave it open. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna pick up the stuff that we have here, head back. We do want to upgrade the beds here at one point, the PAL beds. Currently, it's not really a huge concern, but it is something we'd like to do in the future. Now, let's see here if we can. We have 916 wool. That's enough to make probably all the cloth that we're going to need for beds, well, forever, so I wouldn't be too worried. Currently, what we're actually lacking is flour, which we actually have a ton of, so not really. And with this, we can make 9k. So the eggs are still kind of limiting factor, probably due to the fact that we have, well, 2 cows and 1 chicken. But at the same time, I think it is good enough. I would like to get us again just a 4-star cow, probably another 4-star chicken down the line to speed things up a little bit. But at the current time, I don't think there's too much else that can really be done. Honey looks good, milk looks good. It's the eggs that we are kind of lacking with. So might just be that we need to put another chicken or 2 into that other ranch, because I am thinking of taking away the Malpacas, because they've kind of done their job here. Now, did I have anyone that I've already started up? We started this one up twice, so let's put that one in. And honestly, having 2 ranches here that we can kind of mold to our own purposes is going to be beneficial in the long run. So I'm happy with that. Happy with just leaving things as they are. And we are going to allow these guys to breed. We're going to go put the eggs in, and then I'm finally going to go and spend a little bit of time here to get the cows that I've been trying to get since the start of this episode. Before that, however, I have another side quest. The eggs that we got from the desert area and our way to the desert area are hatching, and that's a Sparkit. That's a little bit disappointing. That's a Ruby. That too is a little bit disappointing in all honesty. And for this one, another Sparkit. Again, kind of disappointing. It is what it is though. Let's face it, it's small eggs. You don't expect the world. But yeah, Sparkits was really, really not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for something a little bit better. At least we have a large egg here too, which might be something a little bit better. And we also got a B-Guard for free, so that is good. Let's go ahead and open this egg. I have put in the 5 eggs that we had of Celeries, and that's a Univolt with Artisan. That's actually fairly good. But yeah, there's about 20-ish minutes until the Phalaris eggs are done. So with that in mind, we're going to head out and spend probably those 20 minutes, probably longer, in my honest opinion, farming some cows. We did also level up here. We now have heat-resistant refinement llama. We can also get the Giga Glider, as well as a mounted machine gun. You have to feed these with ammo though, so it's arguable if they're good, but Lily Spear is kind of decent. So we might try and get that one as our kind of melee weapon. But yeah, nothing too surprising here, honestly. Nothing too amazing. We don't really use gliders much. I know that some people swear by them. They're not really the thing for me, though. So if you do love them, I'm not saying don't get it. But personally, I just find the Flying Pal to be more easy to use. There are, of course, things like you can make slides to speed yourself up massively with the gliders. So they are versatile. They are useful. I just prefer using the bird to, again, just make my life a little bit easier. So, again, personal preference. We are, however, going to go ahead and sell all the things that we got on our island tour. As you can see, these 22 sapphires, 1600, 16,500, and get a little bit of extra money from the other stuff. But we can actually use this to buy pals again from black marketeers, things like that. So there is purpose to this. We could buy a Mozzarella. I feel like they're easy enough to get though, so that shouldn't be a concern. Goldfin here, no good perk. If it had, we might have bought it. Because right now we can actually farm Goldfins fairly early with the green balls that we do have. And I am thinking that we might want to just stop by and see how we're looking in terms of effigies. We might as well take that opportunity as well. And again, I do know side quest should be my middle name. I set out to do something and then have 20 different things that I finished before that. But we can actually enhance our capture power a little bit here. We still need to get another, well, another few lift monks there until we get the next level. For now though, I'm going to go cow hunting. See you in a bit. After spending some time farming, we basically have almost a page here on Mozzarinas. We also end up catching the 10 woolly pops here because we haven't actually caught any. And they basically produce cotton candy, which can be used to improve sanity of pals. So they can be useful, but the main target were the Mozzarinas. And honestly, we didn't capture as many as I'd like, but I think it's best to just take a short break here. As you can see, the eggs are pretty much done. We also have some of the damp eggs. Well, let's just say that we have a lot of interesting eggs here that we're going to go through quickly. So hopefully we are getting some celeries here with better combinations. We do want a combination for mounts with quick with swift, runner, serious artisan. That's a bit of an interesting combination. But yeah, we want a basically speed celery and we want a work celery that we can then make into, well, a new business. We also found a lavender there, a dig toy, so we're actually getting some good experience here from these eggs, but we'll take a look exactly what the lavender is in just a second. A serpent terror, which is basically an earth terror. See, I'm again looking forward to seeing what these celeries are, but we are going to have a look at the new pals as well once we actually do get them. But yeah, dig toys can be incredibly good, by the way, if you use them manually. They don't really work well for mining or as a part of a base. They can be decent for other purposes. We also got a Bushi. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually just open all these eggs. A serious artisan, that's not bad, but we would have liked to get the work slate on it too. Artisan work slate destructive, not the best, but not the worst either. That one's pretty decent. We have 3 work skills plus musclehead. And again, I'm not too worried about conceded. It's a 10% boost. Of course, once we probably later on want to absolutely perfect something, it's going to be something that we will take into consideration. But until we hit that point, I'm genuinely not too worried. And we're getting some swift Larises here, which is good to see. As that's kind of what we're looking for. We even got a conceded one. But yeah, for working, I think we were instead going to go with Magnahawks. They're smaller. They get less stuck. So at least early game. Well, when I say early game here, I mean until later patches when PAL movement gets a little bit better. I think Ragnarok's are going to be the better option. But yeah, we've got a bunch of Phalarises. We are going to go and have a look at the Celeries. Got some experience here. And our current one, Swift and Mindform. I thought we had something better there for a second. And our current Phalaris does have runner only. So that Swift one is actually going to be quicker. Just keep that in mind. I am going to put in some eggs here. Did make a pit stop. I have been doing a few of these while we've been farming. Seems like the breeding base isn't actually working properly today, as they are producing eggs fairly slowly, but that is what it is. Okay, the celery here. Artisan series works like Musclehead. This one's kind of decent. And I want to see if we have an Anubis that would, well, not really an Anubis. If we have a Relaxosaurus, that would be a good match. The Diet Lover. But the Diet Lover is female, so we actually need a male. A male celery. Which makes things a little bit more difficult. Serious Artisan Runner, Hard Skin. So yeah, we're gonna have to breed a few more Sanctuaries to get the combination we're looking for. And Lavender here basically gives you life steal, so not the worst pal ever. And can actually be combined to make some pretty decent ones, and also level 2 handiwork, medicine, transporting, and mining does make it a fairly decent early game perk. The Toys here does have level 3 mining, but as I said, as part of a base for mining coal and ore, it's not going to do a good job because it's just going to chew through your food. It hits each node for 1 with a spinning attack. It does hit it a bunch, but most other pals are going to be way better. So you can use this to mine stone and base, but I wouldn't really recommend it going for nodes. It's going to be incredibly bad for that. So do keep that in mind. We have a runner swift downtrodden one here, so honestly, we are gonna put that one in immediately. That's gonna speed us up massively. And I don't think we have any nimble ones there, yeah. So we'll have to breed a quicker Phalaris a little bit later. But yeah, a bit unfortunate that the only good salary we got was, well, excuse me, just that one. Like, these are decent, but I would like to get, again, some better skills on the Anubis, and we are going to try and make a runner celery, which we're actually going to kind of start with over here, back at the breeding base, in the sense that I did add a celery runner, a celery swift. We are breeding these two together, and we're doing the same here with these guys. So the eggs there. Apparently, you guys are not creating eggs. Have you run out of cake? You have. Let's move these. Well, not just two. Let's move 4 over. Excuse me. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and chuck these two into the hatching, if you will. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we're gonna chuck these 3 eggs into the hatchery as well. And as you can see, we're actually having some decent progress here with just 5 minutes. They're very comfortable, which means that these are gonna go by really, really quickly. So I'm just gonna do some miscellaneous stuff around the base. We have made some rifle ammo, but honestly, we might actually go and have a look at the black market here. But for the time being, I'm just gonna, as I said, have a look at some of the stuff happening around base. We are doing well with the cake production. Probably could set up another breeding farm to speed things up a little bit, but at the current moment, I'm not too worried. I think we'll do fine. So we'll wait for those eggs to hatch, and then we'll make a decision on what we do next. What I think we might do is just have a very quick look at how quick this Phalaris actually is, and it is decently fast. So the way that this works is that the Phalaris has a sprint speed of 1500, which means that it is relatively quick, let's be honest. For instance, I believe, if I remember correctly, that the Ragnarhawk has 1400 and the Beacon has 1300. So they aren't that far behind. But the thing is, with 1500, the speed increase is a percentage gain. So with just the 50% that we're getting right now from both Swift and Runner, our actual speed now is 2250. And if you had the same boost on a excuse me, on a Ragnarhawk, you'd be getting, well, just slightly less, but 150 less total. And that's kind of the idea. Although, to be fair, Ragnarhawk isn't a bad mount at all. You should not worry about picking it up. Does not look really like we have got the chest to respawn. As I was here last, unfortunately. Was X walking about? We have a bumper button. But I do think that we need to go to the southern the southern reserve a few times, because I am looking for a Grisbolt. I'm going to be using that in the future to breed a different pal. So Grisbolts is something that we need to kind of pick up. We can breed one, but it's just easy to go to nature reserve and pick one up rather than to do anything else. Because if I remember correctly, Grisbolt plus Anubis is one of the ways that we can get a Ragnarhawk, which is again kind of why I want the Anubis to have one with runner spec, one with combat spec, and one with work spec, because all of them can be used, well, for breeding a lot of high-end pals. And Anubis is fairly high-end in itself, so it kind of makes sense to, well, get one. But yeah, I'm gonna fly over here, we'll see if we can find a Grisbolt, and then we'll head back to base and see if any of those Sanctuaries are worth breeding up into an Anubis. So we haven't really had any luck here with finding the Grisbolt. I have been capturing some of the other pals here and leveled up to level 41. But at the same time, with really, really no chance here that we are going to be getting the Grisbolt, and the fact that day is breaking, I think it's best for us to just skedaddle. We'll come back some other time to look for him. It's not anything critical, and honestly, we should go back and check on the eggs anyways. So that's what we'll do. Although we did kind of find a chest here, well hidden on the way. So yeah, skill fruit. But yeah, we're gonna head back. We're gonna check on the eggs, see if we get any good Sanctuaries. We have returned, and as I said, we did level up here to 41. We're gonna invest in health, get that a little bit higher, at like 2,000 or so. 1,500 weight is usually good for me. And we can unlock the electric kitchen, which is gonna make, well, cooking go by a lot quicker. It's gonna require circuit boards and charcoal. So circuit boards is kind of interesting in the sense that we're gonna have to go and get quartz to make the components, and quartz is in that ice area. So we're gonna have to go for a little bit of an adventure to get the parts that we need, which is fine, honestly. And apparently here too, we have a full inventory of pals. That is why it dropped on the floor. So to fix this, we're gonna do a little bit of condensing on whichever pal we feel is good enough to deserve it. Basically, if any one of these are on a diet, we're going to go ahead and condense on it. Artisan, Hydromaniac, if we don't have any good diet, Mozzarinas, we're just going to go ahead and do it on, say, the Artisan here. I think that will be just as fine. We do have a diet lover, which is going to just lessen the food. That gets 8, which is fine by me. And while it would be nice to keep some of these work skills, I'm not too worried about it. We can farm these Mozzarinas fairly easily again. So it's more about making up space and also, well, condensing a better one in this scenario. I don't think we have 32, but I'd like to see how far away we are. So that's why I'm clicking in the remainers here. And we're just going to go ahead and put all of these into the... Yeah, we're lacking 8, so that's kind of what I expected. But we should have now more room. And since we are going to be opening more things, let's just go with what we actually end up catching. We catch some egg-tier deers Terra, which is, again, the deer, just the earth version. Can do lumbering. We capture some pancakes, which we have seen before. And we capture some acerobes, which can be used for watering. And honestly, this is a pretty good watering pal, particularly now that we have one that isn't, you know, huge. So if we have one with good skills like Artisan, there's no reason why we shouldn't use it in the base. It can still get stuck, though, because it is still fairly sizable. But as you can imagine, it should be doing the watering jobs here quite easily. We have actually put in a couple of gobfins here, which also do the job fairly well. And we also have the kelpsies here, which we can probably switch out at this point. But yeah, you get the idea. We have a bunch of pals that can do a wide variety of jobs. And unfortunately, I don't think any of the cell races that we open are good. So we're still working on that perfect celery that we can then, well, work out from further. Let's go ahead and open the remaining eggs. See if we got anything that is worth, well, turning into Anubis. Runner, Swift. That's good. Now we just need to get Nimble on it. That is very, very good. Swift and Serious. Not amazing, but we could use it to make a Swift work pal. Just Swift. And I just want to give a heads up here. When it comes to breeding, if both parents have the passive, it doesn't give you any extra chance. You just need one parent to have the passive. Yeah, at least that Swift runner that we got can be used. So I'm thinking we're going to head back here, have a look, and potentially do a little bit of switch ups here for these two. Because again, Swift and runner. So let's do it like that. We're going to be putting in the Swift runner here with a few too many perks. Ranch is still producing a bit of goods here. Nothing too major. Put the U in here, pick up the eggs, and we need to find a nimble partner. And once we get a celery with all 3, we're going to be very happy. Unfortunately, I'm not going to protect your ears this time because there's not a lot of things to pick up this time around. Like so. It should make it a little bit easier, but yeah. The other one that we were looking for is a nimble one. I don't think we have a nimble one that popped out now, because again, they are combinations of the parents, we should have a nimble one already stocked up, and we do. And luckily enough, this one is male, so we can just do it like this. Excuse me, pick up and chuck in. So this should be, hopefully, the movement celery within reason. Still need to get a good work one, so we're just gonna head directly back and put them in. And I don't think I'm going to be doing too much running around now. I think I'm just going to take it a little bit slow for the rest of this episode, in the sense that we'll find a safe place that's outside the base to kind of try and avoid raids. We've been kind of lucky with them today. Knock on wood, or what people say, so I don't jinx myself here. But what I'm thinking is we're just going to kind of sit down, maybe fly around, collect some chipmunks, lift monks, effigies. Because as you can hear, I'm not feeling 100%, but I'd still like to get the goal of getting at least the celery, either the runner one or the work one, ready for the end of this episode. So I think, as I said, we're gonna just fly around a little bit, probably explore maybe a little bit of map, or I might just sit down and relax and see if we can get some effigies while we wait for those eggs to hatch. I actually realized there's something better we can do while we wait, and that is to get, well, the Liftmunk effigy down there for starters. But what I'm thinking that we're going to do here is actually head out and get the quartz that we need to get the electric stove up and running, because that's, again, going to be a huge help to speed up production. So, again, it's no reason not to get one ready as soon as possible. And the only thing we miss is the circuit boards, which is basically just quartz and polymers, if I remember correctly. So not exactly difficult to make, and it's not exactly, as I said, difficult to make. And we're going to be heading over to the ice area to pick up the quartz. And also, of course, on the way, we're going to be picking up random eggs, the FGs, things like that. But the ice area that we are at right now, which is right next to the mining base with coal and everything, that's not actually the one that we want to go to. There's another one that is even further north, and I'll be showing you on the map once we get there. But basically, we're just going to be flying there kind of immediately. There's still some interesting pals in the area here, like Swees. I believe there are Kitsons, which is basically an important pal to pick up. But unfortunately, there isn't any real quartz there. You can see over there we have a Foxicle, which is basically an ice foxbox. Excuse me. But yeah, we're going to be heading over to the ice mountain over there. That's our actual goal. So let's fly over there. We'll get to the quartz area, and I'll be picking up lift monks on the way. I'll be picking eggs on the way, and I'll summarize what we found once we get there. Just a bit of a heads up if you go yourself. This is a bit of a high level area where you'll reach pals that are level 40 to 45, and even Caprides are kind of dangerous in that sense. And if you're like me and traversing here on a sub 20 Polaris, there's a lot of things that can kill you very quickly. So you are going to have to be a little bit careful and take things a little bit slow just to be on the safe side. We did find a huge frozen egg, which is, well, huge. But as you can see, this area is kind of neat looking as well. And over here is actually one of the more interesting places where you could decide to build a base, because there's a huge circle for one. It's neat, it's flat, it looks good, but it's also a regular chest spawn. You can see there's 4 chests spawning here. They'll keep on spawning here. On our case, though, there's also some paleogenetic researchers, which are not someone we want to get involved with. So, as you can see, they might actually just straight up murder Phalaris here, which would be bad. So, yeah, be careful. Like, they hit him twice and he's already almost dead. I'm not going back for that egg. I don't want to take the risk. We might go for the egg down here, though. But as you can imagine, this area is somewhat dangerous, particularly if you have a lower level flying pal. And actually, the node down here is kind of what we're looking for. This node down right here, which looks kind of silvery, but honestly, it's quartz, is what we're here for. If we mine this, we're going to be given pure quartz. Honestly, I probably should have brought along the dig toys that we did get with a digging band. But we're going to need a decent amount of quartz, but honestly, it's not anything that's worth making a mining base over. There is a space a little bit further north that is amazing as a quartz base, but quartz is currently just used in buildings mainly. So once you've built everything that you need quartz for, you're probably not going to be needing it any for a while. So unless they change that, quartz is kind of a one and done resource. Now there is another node down there, but I think I'm going to head over and show you the quartz place, so to speak. You can actually kind of see it from up here. There's also a black market here, just hanging out around here. See what he has to offer. Peddlers, an artisan peddler, that's not bad. I think we'll pick him up just because it could be useful. We probably already have one, but I do like to just play it safe and get the extra ones when we can. It's a little bit of a waste of money, but honestly, you can make money fairly easy. There is a way to cheese him, real simple, that I uploaded fairly recently. So money shouldn't really be too much of a concern. But yeah, we are basically here. We're actually on the wrong side now I think about it. So we're going to have to head a little bit west to get to the area I'm thinking of. The west side of this lake up there is where there's a very, very nice spot for making a quartz mining base if you so desire. Now, of course, as I said, the main thing we're here for is the lift monks, but eggs are also really, really nice. So getting a bunch of the large frozen eggs could give us a lot of free experience, because again, in this area, most of the pals are going to be level 40-ish, which means that they're going to be hard to capture. So getting them through eggs is basically just saves us a lot of time. Huge damp egg is amazing. More paleogenetic researchers, they kind of litter this area. Like, really, really litter this area. You can find them everywhere. And as you can see there on the flowers, they do hit kind of hard. But here we are. This is the area I was talking about for a quartz mining base. And this is once again one of those raid-safe areas. Keep in mind, pals will spawn up here. In our case, we have some Mao-Kris, which are the ice version of a Mao. But there is a bunch of nodes up here, and the location, if you're interested, minus 270, sorry, minus 207 to 50. I'm just going to go ahead and mine my inventory full, and then we're going to head back and see if those eggs that we got have anything good in them. So inventory is basically full, so the only thing we're doing right now is looking for an exit, although I do want that egg. You can also find Mammoris Chris here, which, again, Mammoris version. Just a damp egg, that could be another celery. Could be the one that we have been waiting for. But if I remember correctly, as long as we follow the western coast here, well, there is a lift monk down there, but that's a little bit too far down, we should be able to find a teleport point. But yeah, the area here, a lot of interesting things. The cryolinics will be aggressive, so we don't want to get too close. But there aren't too many super aggressive pals here, and Sibilixes are actually incredibly useful pals themselves because they drop high quality cloth, meaning that you can actually use them for farming if you are so inclined. Now, we might need to drop something here because I'm seeing a potentially large egg, and I'm a little bit unsure if Wumpos are going to be mad at me. Nope, we're fine. We're a little bit overweight here, but we should be able to limp our way home. But yeah, this is honestly a good biome. There's a lot of interesting stuff to see here. We can also find one of the legendaries over here. So you can kind of see it, we just went in a straight line, and we actually missed one of the quick travel points. Just ever so slightly. So yeah, put that in there. Let's head upstairs and see what we got. And then we're going to be putting all of these new eggs that we found in, which again could be a lot of free experience. Serious and work slave, it's good enough. We could breed that into, you know, a better one. Work slave artisan, so we're getting more combinations if we struggle to get the one that we're looking for, that we can then create. We might also just end up going for hunting down a better Relaxosaurus. That could work out too. But unfortunately, nothing that would be really amazing for us. So what I'm thinking here is that we're just going to put in every single one of these large eggs. And it's going to take a while to get them hatched. We also have the huge frozen egg. Put in the huge damp one right next to it. But all of these eggs could turn out to be very valuable for us, so I'm happy. We also found some large pal souls, 6 gold keys, so I should probably rearrange my inventory to have keys and souls at the bottom. I personally enjoy just having them in my inventory. I know that it's probably not the best way, but keys for sure you do want to keep your inventory. Pal souls aren't that much of a need, if you will, to keep in your inventory, because you can always just you're basically just going to be using them whenever you enhance your pals. So this you're fine leaving them wherever you kind of feel like. We're just going to get those 8 cakes cooking, and I think the last thing we're going to do today is actually just get that electric uh, electric stove up and running, electric kitchen. I really am broken right now. Again, sorry. I should have just quit probably half an hour ago and continue some other time. But I really want to get this done today because I do enjoy this game quite a lot. And also, I did kind of miss a couple eggs here, so we'll just put them in, put you over there. And we have a ton of food here. So let's go ahead and eat some of it. Lighten that inventory a bit. Okay, job done. Did we get enough to get 5 of these? Yeah. Need 10 polymers to get these. As you can see here, we probably got a little bit too much pure quartz. But we'll get those 5 circuit boards made, we'll get the kitchen made, and then we'll see how things look. But yeah, currently, I say we are acceptable enough. Might need to, as I said, put some more combinations to get more eggs. But we have just been a little bit unlucky with the celery. But honestly, if you look at it from that perspective, it might just be time to start gambling, even if we don't have the perfect combination, so to speak. Because as I mentioned earlier, parents doesn't really matter. You don't need the perks on both parents. So we can already start gambling with making a good Anubis. There we are. Now, do we have everything we need to make the electric kitchen? No. I'm going to go burn some charcoal. So here we are. We're getting the electric kitchen built, which is going to get, well, make the cake baking slightly easier. We still have a lot of cakes, honestly. So I think it's going to be fine. But it does also open up some more interesting recipes. Increases work speed and makes sand decrease slower for a period of time. So you can actually make food that makes your base even more effective. You can get food that gives you attack boosts. And basically, the higher level of your stove, the higher level of the food you can make. Now, this is basically, when I mean higher level stove, basically campfire, cooking pot, then the electric stove. So there isn't any real way to level that up even further, other than the devs add something better. But yeah, that should make cooking a little bit easier. We actually might as well go ahead and cancel these cakes, although he has done a good job so far. And I'm just going to get rid of that cooking pot. We're going to get rid of probably the second cooking pot too. I do want to get one more of these, but to do that, we're probably going to have to go and buy some high quality pal oil to make more polymers. You can actually buy it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but there's a fishing village over here that sells high quality polymers, which we actually can go and visit now. So we'll probably do that in the near future. For now, however, I'm going to end it here. Sorry that we didn't get everything that I wanted done, but I still feel like we made good progress. Didn't get all the cows made, and I still have to put that cow into pasture, or the ranch, so yeah, sorry for not being 100%. I probably should have, as I said, stopped myself halfway through this when I started feeling a little bit sniffly, a little bit coffee, but I had fun. That's all that matters. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I do hope to see you around next time. Apologies for all the sniffles and coughing. Bye bye.